The dog isn't in the kitchen, she's in the hallway, sitting perfectly still, spine straight, ears pitched forward at that careful angle. The one she only uses when she's listening for something she actually cares about. Her eyes are locked on one door. Not the bathroom, not the kitchen, not the room of the person who filled her bowl last night. Yours. She could walk 20 feet and get attention from anyone right now. She knows they're there. She can smell them, hear them, feel the vibration of their footsteps through the floor. And she's chosen, instead, to sit on cold wood and wait.
Look at her, she's so calm.
Because behind that door
she
is
loves
the
getting
one
pet.
sound she's actually
Claire,
holding her breath
you
for.
really are her whole world,
The
aren't you?
shift of your weight on the mattress.
She follows me
The
everywhere.
moment your
It's
breathing changes
kind
from
of
sleep
ridiculous.
into something else. Most of us have been in this scene 100 times. We laugh about it. We mention it at brunch like a fun fact. She follows me everywhere. It's kind of ridiculous. And then we move on because it's just a habit, right? She probably just got there first. It doesn't really mean anything. It means everything. And by the time we're done here, you're going to understand why that small, patient body in the hallway isn't waiting out of routine. She's waiting because somewhere inside her, a decision has already been made. And that decision is permanent. Here's the thing. Most of us carry 3 quiet beliefs about how a dog picks her person. The first is that she loves the whole family equally. That affection just spreads itself around like sunlight, a little for everyone. The second is more transactional. Whoever fills the bowl owns the heart. Makes sense, right? And the third feels almost responsible to believe she's closest to me because I'm home the most.
Hey, Luna, over here.
Proximity equals bond. None of them hold up. Not really. What science has uncovered over the last 15 years is something stranger and, honestly, more humbling. A dog's choice has almost nothing to do with food, very little to do with hours logged, and nothing at all to do with fairness. The bond she forms with one specific human gets laid down at a level that runs deeper than her own awareness. She didn't choose you the way we make choices. Her nervous system made the call, and then she spent the rest of her life living inside it. And here's what most owners never figure out. In almost every home with more than one person, there's one human the dog has quietly, permanently filed into a different category than everyone else. One face that means something different to her brain. The strangest
15,000
part,
years before anyone planted a field,
that person almost never
they felt the
knows.
loss.
They assume it's normal. They think every dog does this with every owner. They have no idea they're standing at the center of something that took 15,000 years to build. By the end of this video, you'll know 5 specific things she does that reveal you're that person. You'll understand why her brain literally cannot undo this choice once it's been made. And you'll see, maybe for the first time, that the small daily things she does around you aren't coincidence. They're evidence. To really understand how deep this goes, we have to start with a study that caught the scientific community genuinely off guard. In 2015, researchers at Azabu University in Japan published something in the journal Science that quietly changed everything about how we talk about dogs and humans. They measured oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone, the one that fires between a mother and her newborn baby, in both dogs and their owners, before and after just a few minutes of eye contact. No treats, no commands, no tricks, just looking at each other. What they found was almost hard to believe. After mutual eye contact, oxytocin in the dogs jumped by roughly 130%. In the humans, it went up by around 300%. The same hormonal loop that stitches a mother to her infant was lighting up between 2 completely different species, just from holding each other's gaze. Think about that for a second. No other animal on Earth does this with us. Not cats, not horses, not the primates we share most of our DNA with. Only dogs. But here's the part almost nobody talks about. That loop didn't fire equally with everyone in the house. It fired strongest, most reliably, most intensely with the one person the dog held eye contact with the longest. One face, one pair of eyes,
Hi, sweetie.
one
Did you
door
miss
in the
me?
hallway worth
I'm
waiting
so happy
outside
to
of.
see you too.
So the next time she looks at you and her gaze lingers just a beat longer than it should, that's not sweetness. That's chemistry. That's a 15,000-year-old
Hi,
mechanism
sweet girl.
tucked inside a
Did you
soft
miss
body,
me?
telling her brain,
I missed
found
you
it,
too.
found home. Sit with that for a moment. When she looks at you longer than she looks at anyone else, it's not because you're kinder or funnier or somehow more deserving than the other people she lives with. It's not a reward. Her brain, without asking you,
She has never
selected you
audited
to
you the
run
way
the
you
same
audit yourself.
hormonal circuit
And
a
she
mother
doesn't keep
uses
score.
to bond with her child. That circuit is older than any language either of you speaks. And once it locks onto you, it doesn't redistribute, it doesn't split, it stays. That changes what you actually are to her. You're not her owner, not her caretaker, not even her friend, not exactly. You are the architecture of her inner peace. Every time you walk into the room, something in her nervous system that was holding, just slightly, quietly holding, lets go. Every time she hears your voice from the other room, a small alarm somewhere in the back of her brain stands down. She doesn't need you the way a child needs a parent. She was built to need you. The need existed first, and then her whole life arranged itself around finding the person who fit. To understand why any dog is wired this way at all, you have to be willing to go back much further than most people expect. Not 100 years, not a few centuries, 15,000. In a small town called Bonn Oberkassel in western Germany, archaeologists uncovered a grave that quietly rewrote what we thought we knew. Inside were three bodies, a man, a woman, and a young dog, laid carefully between them, not tossed in, not placed at the edge. Between. When researchers examined the dog's bones and teeth, they found something that stopped them mid-sentence. This animal had survived at least 2 severe bouts of distemper before dying. A disease that would have killed any wild canine, because surviving it requires round-the-clock care. Someone had fed it when it couldn't eat, carried it when it couldn't move, sat up with it through the worst of it. That dog wasn't a tool, wasn't a guard dog, or a hunting companion kept alive for utility. It was family. And the humans who buried it, 15,000 years before anyone planted a field, before anyone scratched a word onto a surface, before anyone built anything you could call a city, they felt the loss of it deeply enough to lay it down with their own dead. That's the moment we're still living inside. From that grave forward, dogs didn't just evolve alongside humans. They evolved toward us, toward one of us specifically. The brain, curled up at your feet right now, was shaped across thousands of generations to find one person and orbit around them. Not the household, not the neighborhood, one. That behavior in your hallway this morning is older than agriculture, older than written language, older in some quiet way than us. Which brings us back to your house, to the question you've probably been sitting with this whole time. Am I the one she chose? There are 5 signs, and once you know them, you can't unknow them. The first is permission. Watch what happens the next time someone else offers her food, even when she's clearly hungry, even when she wants it. Her eyes will flick to you first, just for a half second. She's not asking about the food. She's asking if it's safe. You're the one who gets consulted, even when you're not the one holding the bowl. The second is her breath. Try this sometime. Lie down next to her with no agenda, no phone, just quiet. With other people in the house, her breathing stays at a certain pace. With you, within about 90 seconds, it slows. Her whole rib cage drops into something longer and deeper. That's her parasympathetic nervous system standing down. Her body's way of saying, threat scan off, we're safe. The third one, people get this one wrong constantly. She brings you the toy, drops it at your feet, and walks away. No play bow, no excited bounce, just here. Most owners think the dog got confused or lost interest. She didn't. That's a report. You're the one she brings important things to. The way a small kid comes running with a weird rock they found, just needing you to see it. The fourth sign is one that almost everyone misreads as rejection. She lies down next to you, but with her back turned, facing the door instead of facing you. New owners take that personally. They shouldn't. In the silent grammar of dogs, showing you her back is the highest trust she has. It means I don't need to watch you. I trust you so completely that I'll put my own body between you and whatever comes through that door. She's not ignoring you. She's guarding you. In the fifth one, it's the quietest, and I think it's the most tender. She licks your wrist. Not your face, not the back of your hand, the inside of your wrist, where the skin is thin and the pulse runs close to the surface. Mother dogs do this with their puppies. They're checking the warmth, the rhythm, the pulse, confirming the small life is still running. When she does it to you, she's not being casually affectionate. She's doing something her ancestors did 3,000 generations ago. She's making sure her person is still here. Now, here's the part that surprises almost everyone. If you asked a room full of dog owners who in a household becomes the chosen one, they'd all say the same thing. The person who feeds her. The one who takes her on the long walks. The big personality. The one rolling around on the floor with her, making her wiggle with excitement. Seems obvious. It's also, according to the research, almost completely wrong. In 2018, behaviorists at Eötvös Loránd University in Budapest, one of the most respected canine cognition labs anywhere in the world, looked specifically at what predicts the strength of a dog's attachment to one particular human. The food provider didn't come out on top. The most affectionate person didn't either. What actually predicted the bond, more than anything else they measured, was something they called consistent emotional baseline. A voice that stays steady. Movements that are slow and predictable. Reactions the dog can anticipate before they happen. In plain terms, dogs imprint on the calmest person in the house. Not the warmest, not the most devoted, the most regulated. The one whose nervous system feels like a place she can lean against without being knocked over. And if you've ever been the quiet one, the one who didn't make a fuss, who held back a little, who watched someone else throw themselves on the floor with the dog and thought, well, she'll obviously love them more. I need you to hear this. The thing you thought made you less was the exact thing her brain was scanning for. Your even voice. Your unhurried hands. The way you don't react to every little thing. To a nervous system that's been shaped across 15,000 years to find safety, that's not boring. That is the most attractive thing in the world. And here's where it gets hard. Because somewhere around this point, a thought has probably crept in. Maybe it's been sitting there the whole time. Quiet, but persistent. It sounds something like this. I'm gone 9 hours a day. I leave her alone every single morning. I come home tired and distracted, and I miss things. I'm not the person she deserves to have chosen. And underneath that, the older voice, the one that doesn't use full sentences, the one that just says, I am failing her. I want you to put that down for a moment. Set it right down. Because the science says something almost exactly opposite to what that voice has been telling you. For a dog whose brain has imprinted on you, your absence doesn't erase the bond. It's not a withdrawal. It's not damage you have to undo every evening when you walk back through the door. Researchers studying canine attachment have found something that genuinely surprises most owners when they first hear it. Those long, quiet hours while you're away. The ones where she's alone with the hum of the refrigerator and the shape of your empty chair and the faint smell of you still clinging to the couch cushion. Those hours aren't breaking anything. They're setting something up. Every time you come home, her limbic system releases a wave of dopamine and oxytocin that is neurochemically almost identical to the reunion between a parent and child after a separation. The spinning, the tail going so hard her whole back half moves with it. That small, almost embarrassing whine in the back of her throat, the one she can't quite suppress even when she's trying to hold it together. The way her whole body sort of folds toward you, like a question that just got answered. That's not just excitement. That's her brain reliving the moment she chose you. Not once, every single day. You give her that every time you come home. So the story you've been telling yourself, that you're abandoning her every morning, that's not the story her body is living. Her body is telling a completely different one. It goes like this. The person who holds my whole world together goes away. And then she comes back. And the coming back is the proof. The coming back is what makes me sure. Your absence doesn't break the bond. Your return is what proves it exists. The guilt you've been carrying, the whisper that says you should be home more, should do more, should somehow be more. She has never felt that about you. Not once. She has never, in her entire life, audited you the way you audit yourself. She doesn't keep score. She doesn't lie on your side of the bed, cataloging your shortcomings. To her, you are not late. You are not inadequate. You are not absent. You are the door that opens. Now, and I say this gently, because everything I just told you is true and I mean it. There are still things worth paying attention to, because a dog who is bonded this deeply does feel the hours you're apart. She doesn't fall apart. She doesn't stop loving you. But the missing is real, and it shows up in ways most owners walk right past. There are 3 signs in particular, small things, easy to dismiss. The first is paw licking. Repetitive licking of the front paws over and over when there's no wound, no irritation, nothing physical going on. It looks like grooming. It isn't. It's self-soothing. The canine version of someone drumming their fingers or rocking slightly without realizing they're doing it. Her body looking for something to do with the waiting. The second one, honestly, almost every owner has seen this and just smiled and moved on. She drags your unwashed sweatshirt off the couch. She finds the t-shirt you left on the bathroom floor. She curls up on your pillow, the one that still smells like your shampoo and the particular warmth of your skin. We think it's adorable. And it is. But what she's actually doing is medicating herself. Your scent to her nervous system is a low dose of your presence. She's found the closest thing to you that exists in the room, and she's wrapped herself in it. That's not quirky dog behavior. That's grief with a workaround. The third is the quietest. She eats more slowly when you're not home. The bowl that disappears in under 2 minutes when you're standing in the kitchen takes an hour when you're gone. Appetite, for a dog this bonded, is partly a social act. Food tastes different, or maybe just matters less, when the person she's eating for isn't there to see it. If you notice two of those three lasting more than a few weeks, it's worth mentioning to your vet. Not because something is wrong with her, not because you've done anything wrong, but because that small body is working hard to hold on to you across the distance. And sometimes the work gets heavy. If you know what you're looking at, it stops feeling like a mystery and starts feeling like what it actually is: tenderness. Her version of missing you. Now come back with me. All the way back to the beginning. 7:14 in the morning. The hallway. The cold wood floor. Her sitting perfectly upright, ears tilted, eyes locked on your door while the rest of the house moves around her like water around a stone. You know now what that is. She's not confused. She's not bored. She's not waiting for breakfast. There are two people in the kitchen right now who would happily feed her. She is doing the only thing her ancient, patient, chosen brain knows to do at the start of a day. She is waiting for the one fixed point in her universe to come back online. And if you've watched this far, if you're the kind of person who spends 17 minutes trying to understand what's happening inside your dog's mind, I want you to hear something directly. You are not obsessed. You are not strange for tearing up when she puts her head on your knee after a hard day. You are not too attached, or too soft, or too much. That ache you feel when she looks at you, the one that doesn't quite fit into any other emotional category you have, that isn't weakness. That is what 15,000 years of evolution has been quietly, patiently building toward. She didn't end up with you because the other options didn't work out. She wasn't making do. She was shaped across hundreds of generations to find someone exactly like you. And then she found you. In a house full of people, she found you. You're not just a good owner. You are the answer to a question her species has been asking since before we had words for anything. So tonight, when you pass her on the way to bed, when she's half asleep in her spot and one eye opens just to check that it's you, look down for a second longer than you usually do. Watch how her body softens the moment she confirms it's your face. That's not habit. That's not training. That is a 15,000-year-old choice made fresh, right now, today. To everyone else in the world, you're a person, a name on a package, a face in a group photo, someone's coworker, someone's daughter, a stranger waiting in line for coffee. To one dog, one specific animal, who has been carrying this bond in her nervous system since the first week she knew you, you are something else entirely. You are the only door in the world worth waiting at. Carry that with you the next time you feel small. The next time the day makes you feel forgettable. Somewhere in your house right now, on cold wood or a warm bed, or that one patch of afternoon sun she's claimed on the living room rug, there is a small body whose entire nervous system is built around disagreeing with every bad thing you've ever thought about yourself. There's one more thing I want to tell you. I'm going to save it for next time because it deserves its own space and its own quiet. When a dog who has imprinted this deeply reaches the very end of her life, when everything is slowing down and the world is getting smaller, something happens in those final moments that researchers have only recently begun to document. The brain, even as it dims, returns to one face, one voice, one scent, the chosen one. What she does in those last seconds, and what science now believes she's experiencing, that's the next story I'm going to tell you.
Somewhere
Until
in your
then,
house right now,
let her follow
a
you into the
small
kitchen.
body whose nervous
Let her
system
sit too
disagrees
close on
with
the couch.
every bad thing you've...
Let her wait outside the bathroom door like the world might end if she loses sight of you for 4 minutes. She has been looking for you for a very long time, and she found you. That's enough. That's everything.